Deal or no deal? The latest on the negotiations between the LCBO and the union for its workers. The latest is coming up tonight.
An unprecedented global internet outage that grounds planes and disrupts hospitals. We're going to have the latest on the impact here at home and around the world.
And IndyCar drivers hit the track today for the first practice at Indy for Fan Friday. We'll take you there live.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage.
And I'm Lena Latifat. Thank you for joining us. The tentative deal reached earlier today between the LCBO and OPSU appears to be on hold, with both sides accusing the other of not playing by the rules.
Okay, let's go live right now to CP24's Andrew Brennan, who's at the Sheraton Center. This is where negotiations have been taking place. Andrew.
Yeah, Bakari, and this is also where we were expecting to get some details on the tentative agreement, the agreement in principle that both sides have said has been ironed out and was set to go to LCBO unionized workers for them to vote on and ratify. But then everything changed within the span of minutes. We were first told by OPSU as they came here that they can't do that, and then ultimately that this was all to do with a return to work protocol document that they say is standard practice and something that they have even included the same wording in the same document from other strikes and strike actions that they've had in the past, including with the AGO, the Art Gallery of Ontario workers, and that strike that took place. But then, after this took place, the LCBO countered, saying that it was not necessarily about the document, it was about what they say was in it, and things that they say should have been taken care of in the actual negotiation and mediation that came to play to try to get this strike over with. That they had in this document included some demands for monetary compensation, and that this is something they said ultimately was in bad faith. I will in fact read what the LCBO said directly here. They have since introduced significant new monetary demands that should have been dealt with at the bargaining table. To introduce a new set of demands after reaching a tentative agreement amounts to bad faith bargaining. And the LCBO says it expects to file an unfair labor practice in short order because of. Now, we heard from the head of OPSU, and JP Hornick was telling us that ultimately, in their mind, this is again something that they have used in other labor negotiations and ending labor strikes before, that this is not something that should have been completely out of left field for the LCBO, and this isn't exactly like what happens at a bargaining table where you're ironing out pieces of a collective agreement line by line and dealing with the discussion and potentially even the disagreements that amount and come out of this bargaining. That this is what happens on day one, what people should expect, and also including pieces of whether or not there will be any back pay for those that were on the picket line for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks plus, we should say, because it's unclear whether or not any LCBO stores at this point will be opening on Monday or Tuesday. So, with all of this in mind, let's hear more from JP Hornick during the update that we got that they said was to have cooler heads prevail and to calm people down.
Let me be clear. We will be here. All we need to see from the employer is a counter proposal on paper so that we can respond to it appropriately as we would any other employer. I do understand that for the LCBO, this is the first strike in their 97-year history, so they might not be familiar with this process, which is why I am explaining it again today here. This is not about the money. This is about how to get these workers and their 9,000 colleagues back to work safely and according to agreed upon set of protocols. It is that simple.
But what is not simple, Lena Bakari, is what happens next. We do not know, for instance, if the LCBO will be responding to what JP Hornick and her team had said here at the Sheraton Center. We also do not know, for instance, if the agreement, which again is in principle, is in jeopardy, and even if it'll be taken to workers to look at, much less even vote on, and where this will leave Ontarians in the coming days. Send it back to you both.
All right, Andrew Brennan live at the Sheraton Center with the latest on this back and forth. Thanks so much, Andrew. And staying with the story, restaurant and bar owners have been keeping a close eye on negotiations between the two sides. And for more on how they're reacting to the deal being put on hold, let's go live to CP24's Sija Liu. Sija.
Yes, restaurant owners were very excited when they first heard the initial news that LCBO could be opening on Tuesday, and then they were disappointed to learn that that could not be happening. And now they are starting from zero again. A lot of the businesses that we've been speaking to here on the Danforth say they could run out of liquor and beer, some of their most vital items, by the end of this weekend. Right now, restaurant owners are able to purchase online through the LCBO app that is offering free delivery. However, they say that has not been a smooth sailing process at all. Many items have been out of stock. They say delivery has not been coming on time, and now they are running out of time to replenish their goods. They say if this goes on any longer, they will only be able to serve water or juice and not their usual offerings. Here's more from the restaurant owners on their disappointment with the news today.
We're still waiting for the first order to come in. They're 3 days behind. We haven't heard from them. We don't know. It's supposed to be here sometime today or over the weekend, but very unpredictable. It was supposed to be here 3 days ago.
They promise that they can do online ordering. That's really a joke. I tried like for 2-3 hours and to do an online order, even though you have to wait for 5 days, hopefully to pick it up, to they have it delivered, but still everything's out of stock.
So I asked these restaurant owners what is their backup plan if the LCBO doesn't open Tuesday and they run out of liquor. They say they will try to get some beer and wine liquor through private vendors, but that comes with its own challenges because those vendors might not have inventory at all, and then they have to do a lot of research in order to find which place they can purchase from. So a lot of work, especially heading into another busy weekend this summer. Back to you.
Okay, CP24, CJ, thanks. Right now it's 5:07, 23 degrees. Let's get a check on the commute.
Yeah, Adj NCAI was standing by with those details tonight. Hi, Adj.
Oh, hey, Lena and Bakari. It has been a busy go out there on the major routes, and we are dealing with some significant issues happening on the Don Valley Parkway now. So this is the DVP south of Don Mills, multi-vehicle collision. A right lane and shoulder is occupied, very slow on the approach. And then onto the 401, we had reports of problems westbound 401 at Markham Road. Collision was in the right lane. It cleared. Further west on the 401, problems that haven't cleared. Westbound 401 just past Renforth in the collectors. We had the two left lanes blocked following a crash. Also issues on the eastbound Highway 7 on-ramp to the southbound 427. It's blocked following a collision. One vehicle actually ended up in the ditch. I don't have the visual of it. And it remains busy on the Gardner as you make your way into, in particular, into the downtown core. That has everything to do with the Lakeshore being closed because of the Hondo Indy. Shut down for the entire weekend between British Columbia and Strawn. Headed towards the 407 as well. Outside of camera view, westbound 407 just on the approach to Mavis. Collision blocking the two left lanes.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
Adj, thanks so much. Airlines, government agencies, and several businesses, they're still recovering from the massive tech outage that caused worldwide disruptions.
Yeah, for more, let's go live to CP24's Melissa Duggan, who's at Pearson Airport, taking a look at the effects on air travel. Melissa, you talked to some frustrated passengers earlier.
Yeah, and you know what? Some good news for them. Service is really getting back online. And something else to underline, too. This wasn't a cyber attack. Think of it as just a major tech glitch. It was a software update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike that triggered just a major disruption for Microsoft users around the world. And as you mentioned, it disrupting everything from airline services, healthcare, banks, finance. And we were talking to technology a consultant, Takara Small, earlier, who was saying this really puts the focus on just how vulnerable we are. Have a listen.
I think this has really shown that people need to have currency, they need to have money, they need to have those dollar bills for when things like this happen, whether it's a natural disaster, which we've experienced this week, or there's a system outage. It really also goes to show we need to have a more robust system. The fact that one company, unintentionally, has managed to take down so much of the world. I'm talking hospitals, I'm talking small businesses, I'm talking obviously flights, really shows that we cannot maintain the same system we've had for the last couple of years and expect things to move smoothly.
And there was some airline chaos to begin the day with some U.S. carriers like Delta, United. They saw some major disruptions earlier in the day, but they've really come online as the day has progressed. Canadian Airlines, for the most part, faring pretty well. One big exception, that's Porter Airlines. It saw its flights canceled until about 3 o'clock today. I was talking to some travelers here at Pearson, and here's what they're telling me as things started to come back online.
A little bit confused. Like, I had no idea what's happening, like no emails, no phone calls, which I understand because the whole thing's pretty hectic, but yeah, just confused.
We've been here for about half an hour, I think, waiting to go to Montreal. So luckily we weren't affected at all, but I was pretty nervous this morning. We were going to drive 5 hours to Montreal to catch our flight. Luckily we didn't, because the car is very bad on gas. So, but now we're here and hoping for no delays.
And all signs indicate that those travelers were able to make their flight on time. But anyone who had their flights booked earlier, those were canceled. They're likely still trying to rebook right now and figure out how they're going to get to their destinations. Bakari, back to you.
Okay, CP24's Melissa Duggan live from Pearson Airport. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks.
Right now it's 5:11, 24 degrees. This is Live at 5.
We are learning more about how Toronto police helped a global investigation by Interpol targeting West African organized crime. Stay with us.